Well, hi everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we're live on a Sunday afternoon, which means it's time to cope, or rather, time to talk about coping with stress. And today, what I wanted to talk about more than anything was to discuss the different ways people talk to people when they're under stress, the other person, right? When they've got something going on. And one way is fairly toxic, and the other way is incredibly supportive. And I thought I'd give you some practical examples of what that sounds like so that hopefully you will get some inspiration from that. And then once I've talked about that, I also want to talk to you a little bit about baby steps again, as baby steps are really what it takes to change, make major change. All right, it's the difference between doing nothing or doing tiny little steps that add up to something, even if it takes 10 times longer than you thought it would. And in my case, it always takes 10 times longer than I thought it would. So I'm hoping that you will get lots of benefit from this. And if you do, please remember to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comments section, and don't forget to hit the bell to make sure that you get advised of other things. If you're not a subscriber, we'd really recommend it. Hi, Jody, and hi, Jeannie. Just for those of you who don't know, Jody is our main admin, and Jeannie backs her up nearly every week. It's wonderful. I'm very, very grateful to you both. And what I had a look, I don't think we got any birthdays this week. So if I've missed your birthday this week, forgive me, because it's not on the database for some reason. And if you consider yourself to be a regular viewer and you've had or a regular listener, I'm amazed how many people write to me and say they put on Dear Mama Sal while they go for a walk, for example, or they put on a broadcast when they're getting ready to go to bed because they enjoy the tone of my voice. Who knew? But anyway, so all of that. So if we missed your birthday, forgive me and let me know at dearmamasal@gmail.com, or just tell us here live on the broadcast, and Jody will pick it up and do something useful with it. I wanted to give you some feedback. I heard from Lauren this morning, and she's telling me that her mother is still in hospital. It's been 2 weeks. She's still coughing. She got this RSV thing, and she already had a lot of lung issues. And but she is getting a whole lot better. They've done a scan, a CAT scan, I think. Jody will correct me if I'm wrong. And so we're waiting for the results of that. And Lauren herself managed to get tonsillitis. And if any of you are adults and have had tonsillitis as an adult, yeah, that's not fun. And as I said to Lauren today, she's down in Tasmania, by the way. As I said to Lauren today, you know, I can remember how painful that was having my tonsils out as an adult. I had them out when I was 18, I think. But I said it sure beats tonsillitis. I can get, because I used to get it regularly. So let's have our thoughts and prayers for them. And also for a couple of viewers that contacted me this week, as you're going to hear. I've got one of the most wonderful things is that people do reach out, and you guys, I try to make sure that you hear about it whenever I can. So although people do reach out to me, and or even to some of our regular admins and so forth, people do we do talk to one another, because Dear Mama Sal is not just about me, right? It's a group of us who get together, and we just go through the good, the bad, and the ugly of life. And some days I'll be doing fine, next minute I'm having an operation. It's just like, hello. One minute I'm doing fine, next minute I have a boob chopped off. I mean, yeah, hello. So things change, don't they, rather dramatically. So we all have the ups and downs. It's not like some people have them more than others. We all have them. And what we do here at Dear Mama Sal is to make sure that people get supported if they would like that, but they need to reach out, right? If when you're going through a tough time, you hibernate, you're guaranteed to go into depression at some level, because you're not talking about it. You're not getting constructive options. You're not getting anything that will help you out of the funk. So think about that, and remember, asking for help is not a weakness. It's a sign of strength. So I want to say that I am forever grateful, and I probably don't say it enough, for my own personal support team that include both Jody and Lauren, and I will talk to that in a second. But they also include other people. You know, my personal friends. I have a support team there. When I say my personal friends, but real life friends, although I consider both Jody and Lauren to be real life friends now. But Jeannie as well. You know, Jeannie, I always wanted to say how much I appreciate the fact that whenever I'm going through a tough time, you always send me something to touch my soul, to make me laugh, or to make me go, ah, isn't that cute? And I really want to thank you for that. And Sandy, for example, um, when when she shares her creativity with me, it always cheers me up, regardless of what's going on in my life. I'm very grateful for that. And Isabel and Charlotte's here now. You know, all of you guys, you have no idea how much you have fed me, and that's what I want to talk to. So um, let me just get on to this. Um, I know that I met Jody. I can't remember what order I met them in. Um, I think I could be wrong. Anyway, I think I met them about the same time. It would make sense to me that I did. Um, and they probably thought at the time, you know, they never dreamt that we would end up um, being buddies, all right? But, you know, it's funny how that happens. And I'm certain they never thought for a second that they would end up being support for me. You know, it was just like, isn't it weird how that happens? And what I love about them so much is they seem to know me so well, you know, at a very deep level. I always say that about Yvonne. Yvonne probably knows me better than anybody on this planet. You know, and she knows what makes me tick. She knows what upsets me. I was going to use other words. Um, she knows what upsets me. She knows how capable I am or not, you know, depending on the situation. And she knows my weaknesses. She knows my strengths, and she is just awesome. So now, what I wanted to thank both Jody and Lauren for is the fact they always seem to be so good uh, and supportive of me, but not in a toxic way. And I thought for the rest of you, I would give you some examples because maybe you use some of these things that I'm about to talk about. And you might like to know other words to use instead of the ones that you're using. For example, um, when I went in for my recent oral um, surgery, I didn't hear, oh, don't worry, you'll get over it soon enough. Didn't hear that. No. I heard things like, Sal, you've survived so much in your life, including breast cancer. I believe you will handle this with just as much grace. Can you hear the difference between the two things, right? The one is, oh, don't worry, you'll get over it soon enough, yeah. And the other one, totally different. You have survived so much, Sal. You know, can you feel the difference? I hope so. Really important. So I got some quotes today on um, supporting people. It says, no matter what happens in life, be good to people. Being good to people is a wonderful legacy to leave behind. I thought that was beautiful. So then I can remember when something went wrong in a personal friendship of mine. And it was really interesting because I didn't hear, oh, so I'll just be positive, you know. I heard things like, I know it's difficult for you, so because you're a loyal friend. You always remind us that we're only responsible for our behavior. Keep being a wonderful friend, but first give yourself some space if you need it. Can you hear the difference between the two? Yeah, Jody's saying it's easy to say, don't worry about it, when the person saying it isn't the person going through it. Jody, I think you deserve, an award for the way you word things sometimes. I sit there sometimes and I go, oh, I wish I'd said that. And Jody's saying, I hurt when you hurt, full stop. Oh, you see, Kleenex moment. I knew there were going to be Kleenex moments. So hang on a second. So I've also noticed when something is worrying me, both she and Lauren always let me vent, and I use all sorts of nasty language. And it's just like, I don't ever hear from them, oh, Sal, think positively. I don't hear that. It's not what they say. I hear things like, you taught us that it's okay to be angry, sad, and upset. Those are just emotions, and they are not good or bad. They are what they are, a reflection of your reaction to the hurt. Once you've processed them, you will start moving forward again. We are here for you if you need us. How many times do I hear that statement from them? I'm here for you if you need me. All the time. All right? Now, you makes it sound like I'm a basket case most of the time, but it's not quite true. But you understand what I'm trying to get at. It's amazing the difference in the way that some people talk. They don't tell me to think happy thoughts when I'm sad. No. They ask me what made me sad and acknowledge that pain. And then they will support me with words like, you don't have to be happy right now. You need time to grieve. But knowing you will not wallow in it. You will process it and move on with your life. You will not let this pain or person define you. Thank you, guys. You taught me a lot. And it's true. I hope that you can hear the difference. I hope that you can understand that the way we word things can make a dramatic change in something. And if you wonder, for all the broadcasts that I do, and regardless of what is going on in my life, be it betrayals or surgeries or, whatever, people are, verbally attacking me or whatever. And if you wonder, how do I do that? Week after week after week. And the reason I can do it is because I've got an incredible support team of really deeply caring people who don't ask me to be anything that I am, but they also hold me accountable for being as strong as I am and as weak as I can be. Do you get that? It's like they see both sides and they don't judge me on either. Well, actually they do. They judge me every now and then in the best possible way. So, it's like I want you all to understand that learning this vocabulary, changing what you say from the mother sort of type comment. When I say the mother comment, but some of these things, I think we repeat them because that's what we heard as we were kids. And I think the next generation of children hopefully are hearing different things. When we give cheerfully, this is a quote that I saw, and accept gratefully, everyone is blessed. I do want to also acknowledge, by the way, that, hi there, Jonas, as they have grown in their emotional intelligence over the years, actually over a decade now, all right, the level of their support has also changed. And they do hold me able. I do want to make that, they don't, what is the word? Enable me. They care for me, but they don't enable me. They treat me as a very capable person. They don't turn themselves into a pretzel anymore, worrying themselves sick about me because they know that won't help me. Actually, that would probably be not totally true. There are a couple of instances where I can remember one of them turning themselves inside out, back to front. But, I smile because I know she knows better. You see, they are human, as am I. And that's always important to remember. The funny thing is, I used to say to my friends when they phoned me, before I did DearMamaSal stuff, I've always, I guess, been helping people at some level. And people would phone me. And one of the questions I would always ask at the beginning is, I just need to check one thing before we start. What's that? I need to check, are you phoning me for sympathy or help? How many of you agree that there's a vast difference between the two? And what I found out is it's amazing how that question grounds people. All right. Hi there, Sandy. It makes them realize and ask themselves that question: am I phoning to get sympathy or am I phoning to get help? I don't know about you, but depending on the answer, I will deal with it completely differently. But I also used to say to my friends, hey, if you need sympathy, you've got 1,001 people that will wallow in this with you. But if you need help, you know to call me. Today I'm going to help you anyway. But like, I'm not going to let you wallow. I want you to reach out, but I'm here to help you find things that you can do, not things that you can't. And I would love to tell you that what amazes me is how many times I've asked that question and said, did you want sympathy or help? A number of people who laugh and go, hey, Sal, both. I go, okay, at least I know where to start. Jody's saying, I think perhaps some people forget that the teacher also needs support sometimes and is human like her students. Well, I think you all are the teachers, quite honestly. I don't think I would have had, 12 years worth of material if it hadn't been for you guys. So give yourselves credit here. So if you have enjoyed these couple of examples that I've given you, and would like more, please let me know in the comments or let me know right now, because it is really important that we are aware that there is a different way of saying things. Jonas is asking, what do you think is the difference between sympathy and empathy? Good one. I think sympathy is when you wallow with them. And it's not in any way constructive. Empathy, I'll give you an example what I think empathy is, and I'll just need to check with Jody if I'm correct on that, because it was with her. Jody told me something today, and I wrote, I know how you feel, and then I corrected it and said, I think I know how you feel because of my own pain in this area. And there's a difference between the two. And sympathy means that you just keep agreeing with them regardless of what they say. I have never done that. I've never been somebody that just says, oh, that's terrible. Yeah. And oh gosh, that's right. And sort of goes down the vortex with them. I will not pull myself down into somebody else's vortex, because then I cannot be of help to them. Do you understand what I'm saying, Jonas? Oh, Jody says that the difference is sympathy says I care about you. Empathy says I'm hurting with you. No, I disagree. Well, it's a personal thing for me. That's not my definition of empathy. My definition, Jody, says I'm hurting to hear that you're hurting, but I'm not going to go down that slippery slope with you, because then I can't help you. So I can feel it, but I'm not going to get sucked into it, if you like. Interesting. I'll have to, I'll do some more research into that. And let's see what the official, Jody will probably give it to us anyway, what the official definition is. Maybe she is giving me the official one. So I'm hoping that some of you got some ideas here. And what are you going to do when people... Okay, Jeannie, thank you, Jeannie. Jeannie's saying it's the ability to understand and share. That was from Google. Okay, all right, both of you. So Jody's quote was from Google as well. All right, so different things to different people. Can we settle on that one? It depends who you ask. Like so many things in life, right? I always remember, the Rotary organization has a creed, this thing, and it says, one of the things is it the truth? I always used to say, whose truth? They go, truth. Who is it the truth? And I'm going, it depends who you're asking. I can tell you what the truth is from my perspective, but the person next to me who saw exactly the same thing or had exactly the same thing happen will tell you a different truth. So whose truth do you want? I have issue with that wording. So, empathy, Jody. Empathy is our ability to understand how somebody feels, while sympathy is our relief in not having the same problems. Wow, so I have it completely wrong. Interesting. So empathy is, there are about 100 definitions on Google. Yeah, that's what I thought. So whatever your definition is okay. All right? It's like dog. When we say the word dog, everybody sees a different color, different size, different shape, different mood. Some see little bouncy things, others see, it depends what your experience is in life. So thank you, guys. And Jody and all of you who have been supportive of me over the years. I just want you to know that it's really, really special to me. And I keep thinking, gosh, it's another year or a year and a half or whatever. And they're still here and they're still helping me. Thank you. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is baby steps. Oh, Jeannie's saying feelings of sorrow for someone else's troubles is sympathy. Yes, if I feel sorrow for somebody else's troubles, all right, sympathy. Still not very clear to me, quite honestly. Okay, moving on. I'll keep looking into it. Jody and I will do more research into it and see if we can. Thank you, Jeannie. I appreciate the fact that you're double timing here. That's wonderful help. Thank you. So I wanted to say that these people who've been standing there next to me for the past decade, while we talk about real life stuff. I've always said that if one broadcast helps one person, then it's worth doing. Right? You've heard me say that over the years. And by the way, I just happened to look because I was talking about this in my head. How many viewers have we had? And how many of you remember when we reached 250,000 views? Can you remember that? The days of Leah and Glenn and all sorts of people. And we reached 250,000 views and we were so excited. I was looking today, and do you remember that little video I did about how to clean your windshield? That has done 250,000 views now. Isn't it amazing? And we at DearMamaSal have now had 1.7 million views. And so it's not about how many people are at the broadcast. It's about how many people have we helped. And I would like to suggest that if 1.7 million people have seen our broadcasts for any length of time, hopefully we have helped quite a few. And I've always said that what I wanted was not to worry about how many people came into the broadcast. It was Can we keep it going so people know there's always a safe place for them to come back to? Can we keep it going so that people know that if they hit that maybe they were here to solve a problem and then left and we never heard from them again, but later in their lives, maybe years later in their life, something catastrophic happens. Will they know where to come back to? Someplace where they will be heard, someplace where people will care what's happened to them. And that was why, two reasons why I started DearMamaSal. One was to impart knowledge in a way that I hoped would be acceptable to people. And secondly, that we would be there to comfort those that have problems at any time of their life. And this week, two came out of the woodwork, not just one, two. And both of them viewers from a long time ago, and both of them had some major things going on. And I don't know about you. Oh, that's so cute. Jonas is saying this place is like a digital global cafe, this community. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to have was, and hopefully that even after I've gone, that in some way it would continue. Was my hope. So two different viewers reached out to me. And I was really, really touched that they did. Because I'm not going to mention their names or what they were facing, but I want you to know that I cried, when I read what they had to say. And then one of them said, "It's like coming home. I know that you will listen." Yeah, Jeannie's saying, DearMamaSal has taught me, the channel that is, important lessons which I'm now able to help, with which I can now help others. Yes, and that is so important, to pay it forward. And then what is so wonderful is that even without telling you guys about what's going on in their lives, I know I can call for thoughts and prayers for people that you don't even know who they are, and I know that you will do that. And so thank you, those of you who do have thoughts and prayers. Thank you for what you do. Jody's saying, your lessons and your friendship have touched and transformed every corner of my life. And I wrap that love around me as a warm hug every day, and especially when life gets cold. Wow. See what I mean? She got away with words, that woman. Drives me insane. Love it. And one viewer, one of the ones that contacted me this week, told me her story, and she said, I felt so alone. I feel so alone. And obviously that was understandable when I heard the story. A few minutes later, she said to me, I feel so much lighter now. I know I'm not alone. And I congratulated her on reaching out, because if she had turned inwards, she would have ended up in depression. Do we all agree? But the fact that she reached out and discussed it with me gave her a chance to feel better. Jonas says it's wonderful to be able to keep up with everybody's lives, even through all the good and the bad of life. It's an honor. I consider it an honor as well, Jonas. I think you know that. All right. I don't take that lightly at all. And I reminded her that that anger and sadness is perfectly understandable under the circumstances, and they were emotions, and that she was entitled to feel them. They're not good or bad, right? They're just emotions. What are emotions? It's our reaction to stuff that have hurt us. So they are our responsibility. And I just said to her, please remember that as much as you are entitled to be angry and sad, it's not going to fix a darn thing. So as soon as you've had your sadness and anger and can work through it a little bit, then start taking steps in the right direction towards the new goal that you need to have and that you want to have. And no, you're not alone. Because if you run out of ideas, you've got a whole group of people who care about you and who will give you options. And I want to tell you, I wasn't sure that I had answers for her, but my job is not to necessarily have answers. My job is to listen to what is hurting her and why. And I did ask, why this had happened, and I got a pretty straight answer, and that was sad. And so, it's like it's very difficult not to get sucked into it. But I'm going, no, I'm not going to be any use to her if I get sucked in. I need to stay, I want to say above it, but I'd like to say above ground rather than get sucked in. Does that make sense? And I heard comments from them, things like, oh, you're the one thing that hasn't abandoned me. Can you imagine how you're feeling that you get to say that? Or I feel I'm a burden to you. And then one viewer said to me, you may not see me, but I listen to your broadcasts all the time. So I want you, those of you who are regulars, to know how important you are. Because it would be so lonely for me to be here every week on my own. Jody's saying, I have pity party days once in a while. I let myself cry, get angry and sad, and then I put on my gratitude space. I go back to my gratitude space. Yeah. I'm just trying to get a grip here. Hang on a second. In my world, you all know I've been through a difficult couple of years. I know I've suffered from debilitating joint issues from the drug that they gave me after my mastectomy. And I went from being able to do 10,000 steps a day to hardly being able to walk. And when I could walk, it was with quite a significant limp, enough that I needed a walking stick to be able to walk. And that happened in the space of 6 months. And by the way, the pain was excruciating. My local post box where we mail letters and get our mail is probably a 10-minute walk. I'm in a community and it's in the center. And of course, I'm on the outside. Anyway, and I used to be able to do that without even touching sides. And then I'd carry on for another couple of thousand steps, while I was out. It was so bad that when I decided to walk, I would have to stop so that I could cope with the pain and rest my hip. It was that bad. And it was very, very difficult. So my quality of life deteriorated extensively for me, not like Jody's, but on my scale, because everybody is dealing with their health, all right, whatever that might be. And then after 9 months, I saw the oncologist again, and she said, Sal, I think the price you are paying, hi there, Kimmy, the price you are paying is greater than your risk. And she said, quite honestly, your risk now is very low. And the price you are paying is high. And so we agreed together that I would stop taking the drug that she had me on. Now, I do believe that I had taken it long enough for it to have done the job it was meant to do. And so I didn't think it was totally irresponsible of me. But I wanted my quality of life back. Yeah, Jeannie's saying, I've accepted the fact that I need a cane due to physical problems. I smilingly call it my affection. Oh, affectation. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, affectation. So each of us has it a different way. But for me, I wanted my life back as much as I could. And that was my um, choice. All right. So I stopped taking the drug. How long ago would that have been? Probably 4 or 5 months ago. Okay. Jody's saying you never use this as an excuse, so even though it would have been totally understandable, you pushed yourself to put in all the steps you could. Look at the example you set. Impressive. Okay, so here's the thing. Um, it really has been quite amazing because once I stopped the drug, I started to really work on myself. Like, what did I do? I changed my diet. Um, it's not that I lost a whole lot of weight doing that. I haven't, but I did change it to be healthier. I eat a lot more fruits and vegetables, a lot less meat. I do a lot more growing my own vegetables and stuff like that. I've always played with that, but I'm doing that more now. I want to be so more self-sufficient. I did what work I could, as Jody said, in terms of steps. I was very frustrated that I couldn't do as much as I wanted to. But I decided that I recently, in the last 4 weeks, I decided I think it's now time for me to start doing yoga. Because I think that will help me get my hips moving again. Now, there's a chance that it wouldn't. Yeah, Jody said you came back to life when you stopped that medication. Yeah, I was definitely on my way out with that medication. But, you know, I, I understand when people stay on it, all right, because what they have is better than the result would be if they were off it. And that wasn't my case, all right? So what I did was I started to do yoga, but I've got a problem. I'm 76 and getting up and down from the floor. I'd be watching something on YouTube and they'd say, and now we'll do downward dog or something like that. And I go, okay, hang on a second. And I'd be trying to get down on the ground. And by the time I got there, they'd be saying, and now we're going to stand up. And I'm going, excuse me, I just got down here. Could you hang on a second, please? And then I realized I was wasting a lot of time trying to get up and down off the floor. And I wasn't strong enough yet to do that. I got a lot of other things going for me, but that I didn't have enough strength to do that quickly or easily. So then I thought, it's easy to say I can't do yoga. And I'm going, no, that's not true. So what I decided was, what if I do yoga on my bed? So that instead of having to get up and down, I'm on my bed already. And some I do, all those sort of floor exercises I now do on my bed. And actually it creates an interesting addition because, the mattress is not solid. And so I'm using more muscles than probably I normally would do. And then I said, I've done that for about a month, I think. And just last Saturday, I noticed that I was not limping anymore. Something happened and I realized I wasn't limping anymore. And I almost ran to get something. And I went, that is really, really weird. Yeah, Jeannie's saying you adapted yoga to your body's limitations. I'm going to tell you what I did, Jeannie, if you're interested. Yes, there are yoga exercises that you can do on a chair. And do you know where I do those, Jonas? I do those when I go to the washroom. I know, yeah, I know some of you are just cracked up now, but I have them printed out. I've managed to get some things on Pinterest and things, and I got some of them and I put them in plastic sleeves, and I've got them in front of me. And every time I go to the washroom, I try and do one or two. And it's amazing. You're just sitting there, contemplating your navel, and you can be stretching up there or stretching there, and boy, you can feel it, right? And this most simple one, I do this one a lot sitting on the couch, right? Where you just do this. And if you're sitting, how many of you are sitting down at the moment? All of you? take a moment, just do this one exercise, all right? Which is pull this hand back as far as you can. Okay, feel the stretch. And now do the opposite. And then do it again. Even if you're sitting on a couch, every now and then, intentionally just go all the way back to the couch. Understand what you're doing for your muscles, and it makes you, especially because we spend so much time. I really recommend not having your computer lower than your eyes, if you can. Am I secretly trying? Oh, here we go, Jody. Be careful of this one. Okay, so I'm so sad. I hope your life gets better. So it's been truly amazing what I've been able to do. So here's the thing: before I go to bed, well, hang on. Let me say, at the beginning of April, I decided that I would have a new goal. And don't laugh at me, because it was a big goal for me. My goal was to do whatever I needed to do to get my right hip working enough that by this winter, I could put my socks onto my left leg without having to use one of those funny contraptions that they make to help old farts put their socks on. Yeah, Jonas is saying this is a really good posture exercise. I want to tell you, it's amazing. I love it. You can really feel it. Right? As is this. Doesn't feel like anything, right? Feel it down here, feel it down here. And the other thing is, sometimes I will just sit. I will sit and do this, or stand and do this, rather, to be honest. Just while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil or something. Why? I want to keep my back flexing. Anyway, so here's the new goal. The new goal was that I would like by Christmas, by the fall, at a time when I'm going to need socks again, that I will be able to lift my leg far enough up and onto my other leg so that I can bend and put a sock on. Now, for some of you, you're going, what? All right. I could put one on my right foot, but not on my left, because even if I pull, I can pull my leg up with my trousers, but even then I can't get to my feet, far enough to be able to put a sock on. I can touch it, but I can't get a sock on. And I said, okay, that's my goal. Do whatever I need to do, if possible, to get that happening. And the other time I need it is when I go on Billy the bike, which is my under the desk bike. I take my watch off my hand and I put it on my foot so that it's counting the steps. So that with my hands, I can be playing a game or writing notes or, answering emails or whatever. All right. So then I said, okay, now what I'm going to do is when I go to bed, I'm going to concentrate on my hips. So do any of you want to know how I've done this? Now, Jonas is saying the one thing that helps me is a float session in sensory deprivation tanks. It's good strength and relax, but it also helps me meditate and reflect. Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Okay, so here's what I do in case any of you would like to try it, all right? I start just by lying on my back and stretching my legs. If you can imagine this is my legs, I now just stretch one out carefully. And I say carefully because if I do it too quickly, I can get a Charlie horse, and you all know how painful that is. So I stretch my leg out as far as I can, and then I flex my toes up. My toes are like this a lot of the time. Right now I'm trying to get more movement in my ankles, like this. And then carefully, I stretch. If I feel any chance of a Charlie horse coming on, I actually retreat for a while and do other things, and then I go back and try again, and then keep going until the muscle is ready to do its work. And I will do about 20 of those, okay? When I've done that, I might have to draw these. So the next one I do, very simple. I'm here lying down, and what I will do is I will bend my knee, okay? So, and this leg is down here like this, and I will bend that knee up and bring my heel as far as I can towards my butt. Now, that sounds like pathetically simple. No, the muscles in my knees have also atrophied. Okay, so it's not simple, but the more I do it, the more they will stretch gently, right? Everything is gently, and therefore the more chance I've got. Then, after I do that about 20 times on each, got that one? The next one I do is, I think they call this the spine twist in yoga, but it's like the one foot is down there, and this one, I bring the knee over to touch the bed. That probably isn't the right way to do it, but you understand, the knee comes over the other leg, and I try and touch the mattress while keeping my body on the mattress. And that really gets your lower back going. Okay? So, again, I will start by doing 2 or 3 each side, and then I will extend the time. Once I got that spinal twist going, I will then go over there and then count to 20. Keep it there for 20 seconds, and then do the other one. Great stuff to do while you're just watching the news or anything like that. Then, let me think what else. I've got them down here. Let me see what the next one is that I do. Oh, okay. Now this one was, this is where I got into the difficulty. If you can imagine, these are my knees, okay? And these are my hips. The first one I do is can I get the one, how far can I get the one hip flexing? Do you understand what I'm doing? If these are my knees and this is my hip, how far can I go this way? With my right hand side, I can do almost the whole way. With the left hand side, I could only do about 10 minutes, if you know what I mean. If you're looking at a clock, it was about 10 minutes. I couldn't get to 15 minutes after if I tried. Sometimes it was 7 minutes rather than 10. The amazing thing is, I've been doing this for maybe a week, Jody? And what surprised me is how far this left-hand side, my hip is actually releasing. I can feel it because of how far this is now moving. It's still not as good as this one, but it's really amazing how far it's gone. It was enough that last night when I got on Billy the bike, I said to myself, I wonder if I can get my watch on my foot yet, which is the goal for Christmas, right? I thought, yeah, I might be able to get that watch on my foot. But, didn't want to strain anything, so I did it very gently. I took my trousers and pulled my leg up and put it on the other knee. And I got the watch on my foot. After a week. By the way, it's another exercise I do. If you imagine I'm lying on the bed, I will bring this foot up and have my ankle on my knee and then press this out to the bed as far as I can. Okay? And then put this ankle on this knee and press it out however far it'll go. That's pretty good. So what I'm trying to tell you is I can't do yoga. Or can I? I choose to do sitting yoga on the toilet. Why? I know I'm there quite a few times a day. So if I only do one every time I go, and it might just be, put my legs up straight or one at a time or something, would I do something Baby steps. Do something. Because what was so difficult for me a week ago suddenly has improved dramatically in just a week. In just a week. And so now maybe my new goal is that by Christmas time, that I can get up and down off the floor fast enough to do yoga like real people do it. But if I'm not there yet, I'm still going to keep going one step at a time until I've built up that strength and built up that hip flexor strength or whatever. All those things, they need to happen. Or I could just say, oh, that's it. My hips are short. And I keep remembering, Sal, if you don't use it, you are going to lose it, without a doubt. And I just want to tell you that well, with tears in my eyes, right, that a year ago, I was limping so badly, I thought I would need hip operation. My hip was so painful. And I could only go up and down stairs one step at a time. You know that shuffle? Some of you know it well. I can go upstairs now without doing that. I can go upstairs like real people do. And by the way, I can almost do it confidently without even holding on. That's what I'm working on now. Have I got enough balance to go up and down stairs? I only have about 3 or 4, about 4 or 5 coming in and out of my house. But it's like, can I go up there without holding on? And the more I do that, the more my balance will improve. Do it safely, because I'm ready to hold on if I need to. Do it safely, but do it. Have you got the balance? Build the balance. I stand quite often, by my countertop, and I will lift this leg, and then I got all my weight now on this leg. Can I balance? Yes. Okay. Don't overdo it. Can I balance? Yes. Build up. And by the way, if you can't balance, just doing this on its own is good enough. Oh, that's a nice stretch. Recommend that one. So now this is the hip that was a problem. I'm not sure if I can. Let's try it. Can I balance? Can I? Oh. So can you see? All right. Jody is saying you're an expert at maximizing downtime. It's been a great inspiration to me, and I'm using the elliptical 5 minutes at a time, several times a day. Also using dumbbells. Jody, slowly. Step 1, get that elliptical back in play. Get it close to you. And then if we know this, if you don't have a routine, when I watch TV, you used to commercial time to get things done. You know something? I've got a new thing. You heard me talk about it yesterday. This is called Hope You Enjoy Dinner. How many steps have you done? Because unless you've done 6,500, you're not getting dessert. All right? I can have my cheese and crackers at night, but I don't get dessert unless I've done my 6,500. Now, is there anybody here with a gun forcing me to do that? Could I break that commitment any day I wanted to? Yep. But will it help me walk? Will it help me balance? Will it help me at all? Or can I take the baby step and do that one thing? Why? Because then at lunchtime I'm going, how many steps have I done? I've got a choice at lunchtime. Do I want to put in a few, maybe 5 minutes? Do something, go outside in the garden, go and do something, get some steps in? Or do I want to do an hour later tonight? Do you understand the difference in that? Jody's saying it's about accountability. You hold yourself accountable without excuses. Oh, and I fail at it too, Jody. You know that. When I was concentrating on my teeth, the legs didn't get looked after. I forgave myself for that, but I paid the price too. If I don't use it, I will lose it. The same thing. I believe that of our minds, all right? Which is the reason I do so much craft work is to keep my mind working, all right? I think we are very, very lucky, those of us who are YouTube type minded. We have to learn so much. Jody's saying that it was a valid reason versus an excuse. Okay, I will buy that, Jody. Yeah, I'll agree with you. My concentration was not on my legs, it was on getting my mouth healing. Yeah. But I think you were very right, Jody, and I hate to say that to you. You know I hate to say that to you. I think you were very right when you said I did an awful lot of things before having that surgery that made my recovery easier. I didn't think about it until you said that. All right. I was pretty sure my circulation had improved. I was pretty sure that I was eating better and that my immune system was probably supported better. So yes, I think you could be right. And you know what I've done? I've actually ordered up. I don't know when they'll get here. Some of those what I call barefoot shoes. Where they actually are like skin, because I have a feeling that they will help my feeling. I have neuropathy in my feet. And I've got a feeling that if I wore those, I would be able to, you improve the feeling in my feet. Kimmy's saying I added medicine last year and I gained 31 pounds. Oh boy, do Jody and I know that one. Was it prednisone or whatever it's called? Yeah, we know of these things, Kimmy. And we also know what that feels like to put on 31 pounds. Yeah. So Kimmy's saying it's because my cardiologist added medication and it's reacting with my thyroid and blood glucose. Kimmy, do you know what blew my mind the other day? So I know I'm doing good things. I took my blood glucose yesterday or the day before after I'd had dinner, but I literally within half an hour of eating and before I had dessert, because I'm not stupid. And my blood sugar was 117 after 6.5. Is that 117, Jody? I think somewhere in there. Anyway, but it was like amazing. You've lost 6 pounds already, Kimmy. How are you doing it, honey? How are you doing that? So some of us have gained weight. Some of us have gained weight because of the medication we have to be on. And here is my question to you. All right. Would you rather be happy and a little overweight, all right, or would you rather beat yourself up and probably end up eating even more because you're miserable? So to me, it's like, I think it's brilliant. I'd love to know what you've been doing, Kimmy. You don't take your thyroid medication till late that makes a difference? I take mine in the morning. And you're walking. Good girl. How much are you walking, Kimmy? Very impressed. I I think I'll have to look into that. I'll have to check with my pharmacist. I've got a problem because one of the medications I take, I cannot take it near any other medication. And then another medication I take, I cannot take it near the calcium medication. And then there's another, it's like, it's really, really difficult. About half a mile. How long does that take you? Some of you will remember my absolute joy when I actually made it round the circuit that's about 1,000 steps for me within the community, part of the community. I managed that, what, 6 weeks ago? You can't take your heart and thyroid together. Yeah, so but it's like you are not victim to it. You're doing the best you can. All right, Jody, my expert on these things, says, Kimmy, most thyroid meds need to be on a totally empty stomach or they won't be effective. It's what the doctor advised you, just checking. Yeah, I take that's the first one I take is my thyroid. Now, Jody, I was thinking again, it's like the things I have to thank you and Lauren for, but one of the things I thought was, I know how to lose this weight. I just have to go back to intermittent fasting. And that's not a major problem because I've done it before and I lost weight with it before. So the question is, do I want to do it? Of course, if I do that and Billy the bike at night while I'm binge watching for half an hour, and if I also went, out in the garden and did a bit more work or actually went for a walk, all of these things together with a, improved diet, hopefully the pounds should start moving quite nicely. And remember, weight starts in the kitchen, right? So it doesn't matter what we do. If we're still eating too much of the wrong thing, then, we're still going to put on weight, right? But I'm pleased to say I'm beginning to drop weight at last. Yay. So there we go. And what I want you to understand is that that we can do this together. It's not easy, is it? As I said, I was doing really well until I was doing 10,000 steps a day until I went to mastectomy stuff, right? Then when I was recovering from that, I was pleased to be able to do 3,000 or 4,000. And then I was doing quite well. I was up to about 6 or so. And, then the next thing hit. And so, you got to be aware that life keeps interrupting your plan. And that is normal. Life will keep interrupting your plan. Our job, as you guys know, is to do the best we can with what we've got, however little that is. I've always said to Jody, if you can't get up and go outside and get some vitamin D, open the window and sit by it for half an hour. Okay? Or get Lionel to take the chair out and get you to the chair, and sit and watch the, Eskimo pie run around on the lawn for a while. These things we can do. I think getting 30 minutes of fresh air every day has made a difference to me. And I have to say that, Charlotte's story about she did that for a whole year with no excuses for a whole year. And she's in really wicked weather. It's like Maine, but she's not in Maine, but it's just like bad as Maine and New Hampshire. By the way, you guys got snow in Maine and New Hampshire? I was watching your weather forecast and I'm seeing colors that look like snow to me and I'm going, you got to be kidding. Anyway, so we can not try and beat anybody. I found that I was reporting steps to somebody, not in DearMamaSal land, but in my real life stuff, and they kept taking it as a competition. I said, no, it's not a competition. not a competition. You've got your goal. I've got mine. I'm just telling you how far I'm doing on my goal. I'm not trying to beat you. I'm trying to beat myself. Do you guys know what I'm saying? So the fact that you can only do 10 and somebody else can do 50 is irrelevant. Irrelevant. Because your 10 could be more difficult for you than the other person's 50. We are only in competition with ourselves. Exactly. You know where I learned that? On YouTube. Yeah? I learned not to be in any way judging myself against anybody else, because I am not anybody else, and nor do I want to be anybody else. I just wanted the freedom to be who I am and do what I thought I wanted to do, and hopefully help some people along the way. And that was an incredible moment for me when I realized I don't have to try and beat anybody. The fact that we've got 1.7 million views on the books because of it blows my mind. And I believe within a year we could end up with 2 million, or 2 years for sure. So it's like, who knew, right? Who knew? I didn't. But it's like one step at a time. Baby steps. I'm not trying to impress YouTube anymore, all right? I'm just trying to be here for you guys, and that we're all learning together. And hopefully you are, because I am. I love being able to come on here and tell you, I've been lying on my bed doing yoga on my back, because that's what I can do, right? I can lie on my bed and go like this. I can sit on my couch and go like this, and I can go like this, and I can go like this, and I can, do this. By the way, here's a really good one when you go to the washroom. Try swimming. Seriously, try it. Try breaststroke. And feel how many muscles breaststroke does for you. Try the crawl. Okay? Think about that. Try the crawl. And then, what about the backstroke? Anybody remember the backstroke? And that's all while you're just sitting on the joint. Right. After a while, Kimmy's saying, after a while, I stopped documenting my exercise and weight loss on YouTube because I get so busy. Yep. It's like, do it for you, not for anybody else. However, what I do know, and this is fact, Kimmy, when you tell me you've lost 6 pounds, that inspires me. I think, oh, if Kimmy can lose 6 pounds, then I need to get my butt moving a bit here. Not because I want to beat you, just because you're obviously putting in the effort. When I hear Lauren does some things, all right, I always have to remember she did this and she's in a wheelchair. She lost a whole stack of weight not so long ago by, what was she doing? Drinking a lot of water and doing stuff. And it was just like, wow, and she got drinking a lot of water, and you know how difficult that is. So, it's just like everybody inspires one another, right? So I'm not asking you to do what I do. I agree, Jody's saying a group of amazing individuals we have here. I totally agree. Each on their own journey. You've stopped weighing yourself every day. Yep, good. Good. How depressing is it if you weigh yourself every day and you haven't shifted any? Right? It's depressing, right? What's the point? You just end up beating yourself up. I'm happy if I don't put it on. Right? I feel I have improved. The other thing, let me make another point. Jody, might be too much information, but hang on. I was finding, I was not doing too well when I went to the bathroom in the morning. Just put it that way. And I thought, I better start taking pills for that. I went, no. No more pills. You need to change your habits a bit more, not pills. And so I've been, experimenting, more celery, more cucumber, more, whatever, oats, all those things. And then I went, okay, and the other thing I'm going to do, when I make a little snack pack. Where is it? Yep. 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 When I go to bed at night, I know you're probably saying you should never do this, but I do it. I make a little snack pack, and it's got 4 prunes in it. 4. And then I add a little small handful of nuts and some chocolate. Have not had a problem since. Little changes, no pills. Didn't need the pills. Just needed to change what I was eating and when I was eating it. So what I want you to understand is we are all learning. What if Jody hadn't taught me about intermittent fasting? And I was very judgmental about that, I don't mind telling you, when she first told me she was doing it. How many of you have tried apple cider vinegar, or however you do that? Have any of you tried the rice water thing? It's just like, I don't know. Do they work? And if something as simple as rice water works, why wouldn't we try it? Oh, and then I saw somewhere, well, you need to be careful because it's got arsenic in it. Yeah, well, it depends how much you drink. Rinse it first, people. It's like all these things. So, all of these things are things we can dabble in or not. And the main thing is, we do know if we eat right, we will be healthier. And that's the main thing. I agree with you, Jody, a second time in one broadcast, that I actually do feel I'm a lot better than I was a month ago. Right? I really do feel it. I feel stronger. I feel my mind just seems to be working better. And what else? Generally, feel good. It's like I'm happy. I'm happy to be doing what I can. I feel that I'm not doing what I want to be able to do. That was the difference, Jody. You mentioned that early. You get frustrated because of what you want to be able to do, like you used to be able to do it. And I'm going, no, I really would urge you to look at today's reality and say, what baby step away from here can I take? Not get back to where you were. No, I think it's unrealistic and definitely depressing. Can you imagine the joy, Jody, when I set a goal which was to be able to put the sock on my left foot by the winter, or to be able to put my watch onto my foot, which was the same motion by the winter, and I was able to do it in a couple of weeks. All right, so Jody's saying I'm still working on making peace with that mental baggage. No, I think you're I think you're being perfectly honest, and I don't want you to stop being that honest. I am certain if I was struggling with half of what you're struggling with, I'd be a nut job, you know. But there is the difference. Yeah, you can't go back 20 years, 25 years, no. None of us can. And by the way, we were given this challenge to deal with this challenge, right? And to realize how precious the last 25 years were. Jody, you and I both know that a decade ago, we did not think we would be talking to one another a decade later. Honestly, right? So, from my perspective, you have done a wonderful job. And you have had so many things go wrong since then, Jody, over and above what you were already dealing with, and you're still here fighting every day. You're still here at every broadcast supporting the viewers. You are still here doing the best you can. So don't you dare beat up on my friend, because that would make me quite upset. I would like you to remind my friend how well she's done and how incredible it is that she has fought off so many things in the last decade and still, from my point of view, probably isn't any worse off than she was a decade ago. I mean, yeah, a little bit, but really, when you think of what you've been dealing with, so all of you, do the best you can. Take baby steps. Remember, when you're feeling angry, sad, revengeful, whatever, reach out. Find somebody that you can tell the truth to. Somebody who will not only listen to you, but hold your hand as you walk your way out of that. Because that's a nasty little place to be, and none of us like to be there. But every now and then, as Jody so rightly says, you need that pity party. You need to cry. You need to cry. You need to get angry. You need to let those emotions go through, and then you will wake up and say, I've had enough of this now. This is getting me nowhere except downhill. Yeah, so Jody's saying, yes, so what you can, do what you can, friends. Approach every day from a place of yes, and watch the blessings appear. I have always said, concentrate on what you can do, not on what you can't. If I had said, oh, I can't do yoga because I can't get down on the floor for half the exercises, I would not be putting my watch on my left foot to get on Billy the bike. In 2 weeks, for goodness sake. How awesome is that? And it's encouraging me to do little things like just stand here and can I lift my leg up to the countertop? Holding on, can I do that? I couldn't. I could 2 years ago, and then I couldn't, right? So it's like, do what you can to help yourself and be an inspiration to others who, can see what you are doing. And, Jody, I know you impress the daylights out of your doctors every time you go to see them, right? Why? Because they see all the other patients who are way less sick than you are, who don't look as good as you do, who don't care about putting makeup on anymore, or don't do any of the things that you do. But, it's like, I think you have every reason to be very proud. And I don't want to forget about Lauren and all that she does and all, the support that she gives to both of us. This is about, we can do this as a community. Kimmy's saying, that would be me. How to get on the floor so I do all the exercises I can do. Yes, good idea. Yeah, Jody's saying my doctor's appointments are my social outings, right? I dress up. Yeah, exactly. Right? And I believe we've got a block party happening here in a couple of weeks, and I'm going, oh, wow. I won't be able to hear anybody because I can't hear anymore. But, can I pitch up and, be sociable? Just smile a lot and listen a lot. I think when I say listen a lot, maybe I can't hear them, but I can listen. I can, amazed how many people I have to say, I know you're talking to me, but if you actually face me while you do it, I'm going to be able to understand you. I'm deaf. What, you lip read? I said, yeah, we all lip read, way more than we think we do. And the time you will understand that is when you lose your hearing. That if you can hear that going on and watch the lips move, the two together, you can work out what's being said. It's amazing. Yeah, I actually think I do. And it's the reason I stopped doing live broadcasts. You do realize that. You remember we used to do broadcasts where we had people coming in, chit-chatting and everything? Because I couldn't hear them anymore well enough to be able to interact properly. So I went, okay, then I'm not going to do that. So there we go. Awesome. So I don't know what you're planning. Anybody got a plan for this week? Anybody have a goal for this week? I definitely am going to keep wearing my watch on my left foot, and I'm going to keep going. If I haven't done 6,500 steps, I don't get dessert. And you know how much I like my dessert. My body proves it. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, have a wonderful week if you choose to. Do the best you can if you choose to. Wow. Jody's saying her goal is to use the elliptical 3 days this week, even if it's for 30 seconds, Jody. All right. Kimmy's saying my eyes are messed up. They did that surgery and now I can't see anything on the computer. What did they say about that, Kimmy? Good night, Izzy. Thank you so much, honey. Yeah, Jeannie's saying she's off to Boston on Sunday. That's this time. So you won't be here next week. Next Sunday, all right? And so, Jody, if we can make a note on that, see a special exhibit. That sounds like fun. That's great, yeah. Good for you. Get out and about. What are you doing with Stella while you're gone? Stella being her dog. Ah, she's have somebody's coming in to stay with her. That's wonderful. I'm delighted to hear that. Anyway, people, we'll see you on Friday, God willing, and we will do the best we can this week, and we will support everybody else we know who's doing the best they can as well. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you for being here. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for supporting each other, and most of all, thank you so much for supporting me. I don't think I would still be doing this if it were not for you guys. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you so much, and bye-bye for now.